This is Let's Talk Business with your host, Marc Ebinger. Now, here's Marc.
Welcome to Let's Talk Business, the show that highlights and promotes entrepreneurs to learn more about their vision, goals, and marketing strategy. Coming up on the show today, we're going to talk about climbing the entrepreneur ladder from employee to investor. Yes, we're going to talk about the cash flow quadrant, one of my favorite topics. I don't know when that book was released, but it seems like it was a long time ago, and it's still kicking. In studio with us today is Shiva Shankar, a civil engineer in land development and an owner of Paradise Engineers. Shiva, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
If people only knew how much I had to practice on that name, right? It's a lot of fun. I'm your host, Marc Ebinger, the owner of Krukus Virtual Staffing, a company that specializes in hiring virtual assistants from outside the United States. A quick reminder to follow the Let's Talk Business podcast on all major podcast platforms and social media where you can catch video versions of the show. You can get to everything easily from our website at satalkradio.com. If you're going to be in the San Antonio area on Thursday, May 16th, 2024, be sure to join us at the next Let's Talk Business Mega Business Mixer. We had to call it mega because it's so big. We're expecting probably close to 200 at the next one. We had 150 at the last one, but we're going to grow. We're going to make it so much more fun, right? Mm-hmm. But we do a lot of business at these things. So we're expecting at least 150 local business owners and entrepreneurs on site to mix, mingle, and connect with each other to do more business. You can get to all the information on our website at satalkradio.com. So pick up your tickets. The first batch of 100 is live, but they will go fast. All right, so Shiva, we were talking a lot before, we even got to the actual show part. There's a lot to learn. You are out there crushing it on the entrepreneur side. You were an employee in this industry for a little bit. So talk about your background and how you went from the employee to a business owner, and then we'll just kind of take it from there.
Awesome. So I moved to the U.S. in 97, and my parents are just straight hardworking folks that put me through school. So what they showed me from a small childhood was work as much as you can, save up that money, and then retire. That's the traditional way of thinking, right? And it's nothing to them. I mean, it's just normal. Like, it's just normal for them from that age. Like, work really hard, go to school, get a job that's really good paying, and then you'll be settled in life. Get a house, get a car, and then you'll retire, get a 401k. And once I read this book by Rob Bukowski, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, like, that changed my entire mindset on what money actually is, because your parents, they don't really show you. My parents they didn't know any better. They didn't know, which is not their fault. They just didn't know. And so once I read the book and changed my mindset on what money actually is coming in, and what actual and what actual wealth actually is to a person, like, it completely changed my mind on how to invest and how to be able to make it in life, essentially, to make money work for you, which is the biggest goal, right? So as an engineer, I worked for a lot of different firms. I jumped from one firm to the next because I didn't feel like I was making it. I didn't feel like I was growing. Every time I got comfortable, I wanted to jump. As soon as I got comfortable, I looked for a new job because I knew I wasn't going to grow. And if I didn't feel uncomfortable, I knew I was doing something wrong. So eventually I moved to Texas, and I met my partner, Sam DeHivey. It was nice to meet him because, like, he has the same mindset that I do, like, as far as growing, investing, and being able to make money work for you. That's our biggest goal in life. So once we met, and our first goal was to get into investments, get into land development, be the ones that create the development, the place where we're sitting right now, create this large office space, create a retail strip, create a commercial development, create a subdivision. We do that for our clients now, but why can't we do it for ourselves?
Right on.
So we were pretty naive. We started Paradise investing to create, land development deals, but found out real quick and real early that you need a lot of money in order to be an investor. A lot of money, unless you come from money, or unless you have friends or potential investors. But we didn't know anyone. We don't know anyone. We didn't know how to do it. We didn't know where to even start. We didn't know anyone that was rich. The only folks that we know are the people that we work with, and they're all struggling day to day for a paycheck, just like we were. So what do? If you don't know anyone, you don't know what to do. How do you make money? We knew that working for a company wasn't the way to do it, because how often can someone save $100,000 working for a company? That takes most people their entire life to be able to save that money. Money comes and money goes out, and you have to work for that paycheck on a daily basis, right? So eventually, the only thing that we knew how to do was in engineering. So we said, hey, let's open up an engineering company. And, we do know how much money our company makes and pays us compared to, how much they're making for themselves. So we decided to open up our own engineering firm and try to get the profits for ourselves and eventually go into investing. We expected it to take a couple of years before we can get into investing. We had to figure out where to get clients from, figure out how to get jobs, it was a very stressful time, but we were so lucky. Like, we met investors immediately. We made connections, we met investors, we had clients that were outside of our company, and before you knew it, we blew up. Like, right now we're, knock on wood, but we're pretty close to competing with our old firm, just me and Sam, which is, I can't even, it's just word of mouth and being able to reach different clients and do something that the larger firms can't do, which is give them that the family feel. They can call me anytime. They know that my number one goal is to make sure that their project is successful. I'm not just a phone number that they can call during business hours. My clients call me anytime, any day. They're like family at this point. I can go to them and stay at their house if I wanted to. That's how close we are at this point. So it's kind of cool to be able to go through that experience and get to this point, and that's where we are. We're still on our track to get to investing, but we're one step at a time. So that's where we are right now.
Cool. So how far into it are you? 2 years, 1 year?
This is going to be about 2 years in.
2 years. Okay. So what's your timeline before you can start investing?
We're planning on investing within the next few months, I think.
Oh, really?
Yes. As soon as we find some land and a good deal, investment. Unfortunately, the interest rates are still high. It's a little volatile right now, but I think it's time that we can probably get into something small and be able to do it. We've done large deals. For our clients, we've seen them. The only difference is they had the money and we didn't. But
right.
we're the ones that got it done for them. So we don't have a problem doing it. It's just we just need the money,
So with respect to the cash flow quadrant, you start out as an employee, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you're a small, or you're your own business, right? You're self-employed.
Yes. So to everyone, to explain the cash flow quadrant, we have the E,
Mm-hmm.
the S, the B, and the I, right? And E is what 98% of the population is as an employee that works for someone else, right? And S is the small businesses, the doctors, the dentists. We are technically an S. You're an S right now. You're a small business. And the big goal is to get across the quadrant to the B and the I. The B is for big businesses, which are like Apple or Google or some of those bigger firms. And then the I is for investors. And our goal is to jump from E to I, but in order to get to I, we had to get to S first to create a small business.
Let's go back to B and S for just a second. So a big difference between B and S is self-employed is actually doing the work in the
Mm-hmm.
business. We're not the owner is not the one that's
Mm-hmm.
really doing the work.
Yes.
They're maybe managing at a higher level,
Yes.
but they're leveraging everybody else. Yeah.
Yes. So as soon as you cross that line between S to B or S to I, that's where money works for you instead of working for money.
And you get your time back.
And you get your time back.
Yep.
And that's the whole goal, right?
And so people they get stuck in that self-employed part
Mm-hmm.
because they're a job owner
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to a business owner.
Mm-hmm.
And so what do you think how do you get from self-employed, in your words, from there to the B? How do you do that practically speaking?
I think people get comfortable in S because they come from the E to an S and they're happy because they're making a lot more money than they ever were. But then at the end of the day, they have to realize they're still working to make that money, even though they're making a lot more than they were in E.
But how do you get from the S to the B?
To the B. So our goal is essentially to get to the I, which is the investing part of it. But to get to a B, that is another hill that you have to climb. It's essentially a mountain to climb. It's not easy to do. You have to really focus on your goals to get to that point, to slowly grow, but at the same time keep the quality of work that you've been building for yourself. So it's not an easy point, and that's
So
the.
are
That's
you going
the
to
path.
shortcut? You're going to go from the S to the I.
I'm going from S to I. I'm not going to B.
Okay.
Because B is a big business. That's a whole different pathway that we feel like it's not doable, but it's a lot of work.
You don't need to do
You
it.
need to hire people that you can trust to be able to do that. And hiring people is a challenge in itself to deal with another person.
Yeah, and that's cool too. Is you don't have to go from the E to the S to the B to the
Yeah.
I. I mean, you can slip down
yes.
at any point as
Mhm.
long as you can get the revenue that you
Yes.
need, or the income or the money to actually do the I and
Yes.
know what it is you're doing.
Yes.
In your case, that fits because you're in the S. You guys have all the skills. You
Mhm.
know what to do. Now you've got the money, so you can go right into the I category,
Right
or at
into
least
I
a
category.
hybrid of the two,
Yes.
until you can become a true investor
Yes.
at some point where somebody else is building the projects out and you're just
Exactly.
collecting the revenue.
The same thing we had to do from go to E to S. That was not an easy step. Like we had to work for almost like 8 months. Like we would work our day job. You know, Sam and I, we both had about 10 employees under us at that time. You know, like we had a full-time business that we were running a firm essentially, not ours, but we were running a firm. It was not easy, you know, and after that, we would jump online at 7:00 p.m. and work till midnight or 1 a.m. like every day for 8 months to get to where we are right now. So it's not an easy path from E to S either.
No,
It's
it isn't.
something that you have to put a lot of work into.
And I think you have to have the
just
mindset for it as well, because people like the idea of being their own boss,
Yeah.
but they don't understand there's a lot more that comes with it. You're basically, a friend of mine calls it self-unemployed.
Yeah.
You know, you're you're your own boss, but it's like you're constantly working and you're not making enough money until you can get to the point where you can.
It is scary too. Like, you know, you could lose everything. You can go right back to the E, you know, like not everything is guaranteed.
Yeah.
You know, it's something that it takes a lot of risk taking to do, and you have to have that mindset of, I want to get out of this rat race.
So what was the biggest challenge in your mind when you started your own company, right? What was the biggest challenge there for you?
For us was making sure that we were able to pay our bills. I'm not going to have a steady job anymore. So how do I make sure I have income coming in to pay our bills? So we had a goal in mind that once we started Paradise Engineers, like, what do we need to do in order to be comfortable and be able to quit our day jobs? So we had a goal, a set goal. If we can make 3 months worth of income, then we should be able to leave. Because in case Paradise Engineers shuts down and we don't get any more jobs, then at least we have 3 months to find another job. You know, like we're trying to lower the risk as much as possible. You know, as professional engineers, we can get a job anywhere at this point. Like, you know, we can go to a large company and be able to get a job there. But let's just be safe. Let's get 3 months worth of income. And in case everything goes downhill, we can still pay our bills and be able to, you know, make money.
Has anything not gone according to plan?
It's been even exceeding our plans at this point with the way everything is. And I think that's because of the way we treat our clients. Like, it's different than a big company. At a big company, you're just a number. But with our clients, we're actually a name associated with it. Like, they know us. Like, you know, they trust us.
So the customer journey, the customer experience is a lot better for them, which, as you're building those relationships, they can lead to more jobs, or what's?
Yes. So we've got a lot of repeat clients. Like, once we get a successful, once we have a successful project completed, permitted, then the clients will refer to someone else, or they have bigger jobs left over. Like, clients, we haven't done any marketing at all. Like, everything has been word of mouth and just through relationships at this point, which has been.
Are you guys building your brand out as you go, or is it just sitting there?
Our brand is, that's a good question. We don't really emphasize on our brand.
Well,
Essentially.
okay. So are you collecting, testimonials, or like jobs in progress and completed jobs and stuff that you can say, hey, this is what we've done. This is what we're capable of doing, so that you can attract,
Yes.
right? Or act as like.
Yeah, we do that when we have to bid for a public job. So when we bid for a public job, or when a client asks for our references, we do have to put something together to show them like how good we are, or what we've done in the past.
And are you putting this out there somewhere, like on a website or?
Yeah, we need to do that for our website. But with Sam and I being the only people working, like sometimes like things like that go through the crack a little bit. So we do need to work better on that to put that on our website. That is something that's on our list of things to do.
Okay.
Is to update our website accordingly to the projects that we completed so far.
Is that something important to you or no?
We wanted to do that when we got to the 2.5 year mark, so that we have enough projects. Because for us, projects take a long time to get permitted and constructed. So we've gotten a lot of projects permitted and they're in the construction phase. So we have to wait until it's been finished so we can have the pictures and be able to send it out. So it takes a year, 2 years for sometimes to build an apartment complex or build a retail strip or a subdivision. It takes time for those things to happen. So for us, it's like we're just so new in this entire thing that we have things to show our clients. We just haven't been able to present it in a proper way to be able to put it online.
Yeah, a couple of connections on that could be helpful for you to, because doing like walking job sites, do you ever do that as well? So, I know a guy, he's in commercial real estate, very successful. His Instagram's doing extremely well. And he's always walking the job site, talking about things or whatever. And he's just kind of putting out there what he's all about. And then he gets work from that. And it's high level stuff. We're not talking little money here. We're talking big money.
Yeah, no,
so that's what can happen with just putting it out there, having some kind of a plan to do that. So you're capturing relevant content and putting it out there so that people can
That's
see
a great
it's
idea.
relevant.
Yeah, definitely. We'll definitely have to update that. And Genevieve's actually been helping us with she redid our logo for us. And so maybe she can help us with some of the marketing aspects.
Well, yeah, I think she's involved in website development, social media, of course, and then graphic design, all the stuff. So she could probably help you guys get set up on all of that. But it's that consistency
Yes.
in it. So, yeah, it's worth it,
Yes,
at least
sir.
in my mind.
For
so,
sure.
marketing important? Yes or no? Right? Yeah, very important. Okay, so what about the name Paradise? Why did you choose that name when it comes to Paradise Engineering? Because it doesn't necessarily flow. I'm thinking like for me, of course, Krukus is my company name, doesn't mean anything. But so why Paradise?
Oh, it's very simple. It's because that's where our goal is, to live in paradise, to be able to live a life where we don't have to worry about anything, provide that for our family and friends. And, we want to live in that paradise. At the same time, we also want to create a paradise for our clients. Like our clients want to do all these development deals to be able to get to that investor part of it, not to live their life free. So the entire reason we call it Paradise is because that's where we're going for. We want to be able to think of that every time we say the name. It's a mentality thing as well. Like the more you say it, the more you vision it, and the more it comes true. It's just being able to attract what you're looking for.
Are you primarily working on commercial, or are you doing residential? What's the deal there?
We do everything. We do commercial, residential, industrial, and so we have all sorts of projects going on right now.
What do you guys want to do though when it comes to your own investments?
We're open to it. There's so many different ways to make money when it comes to. There's so many different ways to make money when it comes to this. So what we do is, as civil engineers, the first thing that happens is we come up with a conceptual plan, bring it up to the city or county, get their, let's just say that we get their blessing on the project, then we get the construction plans put together. And now that construction plan has to get permitted through the city or county. So now you have a piece of land that just has trees or grass, it's a farmland. And now you have a development on top of it. Let's just say you have a 100-acre property and you have 1 acre lots on there, and you can fit like 80 lots. You have 80 1-acre lots on a piece of land that was farmland, and you have it permitted through the city or county. That means that they've signed off and said you can begin construction anytime you want. So now I can take that plan and sell it. Say that I bought the land for, let's just say round it up, and let's just say I bought the land for $500,000. I can sell that paper plans that I've gotten permitted on top of the piece of land, maybe sell it for double the money that I bought the land for. With little to no work and no construction, I was able to double my money. I mean, I'm not saying that's how the numbers work all the time, but it's just an example. Or if I want to create the construction of it, then I hire a contractor, get more investors, because construction costs a lot of money to build roads and etc. Then I can build the roads, the drainage, the utilities, and be able to sell that at an even higher price. Maybe 4 times what I bought the piece of land for. And then the next step is, say that I'd sell all that to a like a Lennar Homes or something, and if they buy it and they build the homes on it, and then they make a profit on top of what they were able to buy it from you for. So there's steps to this in order to be able to do this. So it depends on the piece of land. So to answer your question, depending on where you are, it depends on what works best for that area. If it's a commercial development, great. If it's a retail strip, great. If it's a subdivision, great. But it all just depends on where you are and how that market works for that area.
Are you looking to turn these kind of projects, or are you looking to actually have assets that you're managing?
So the first thing we want to do is the first step is to do as little work as possible, right? Let's try to sell those paper plats as much as possible. Next, from there, be able to get into, the end goal is to get into assets that you can manage. Like if you owned an apartment complex, the cash flow from there could feed your family for the rest of your life without having to lift a finger anymore. That's incredible. So those are the kind of things that we eventually want to get to. But again, it's one step at a time. It's a long race you have to endure for that.
And you're looking to actually build that out, save your own money, do it your own way, rather than going out and finding investors, pooling that together.
That's another option. It depends on how big the project is. Like, if you have a larger project, in the beginning, we want to be able to establish ourselves to do our own deals. But eventually, once you get into those multi-million-dollar projects, that's going to cost a lot of money. You need a pool of investors to be able to get that going. So now you're talking like big boy money. So you need a lot of people that have a lot of cash to be able to invest in your development, trust in what you're doing, and that at that point you need that portfolio that you mentioned, but you need that investing portfolio as well as the engineering portfolio, and be able to get to that point.
And you guys are here in San Antonio, Texas, and there's just a lot of development that is coming this way. Do you guys think that's an advantage, or does that even matter?
Yeah, no, the Central Texas market and South Central Texas market is absolutely amazing. With what's happening with Austin, we do a lot of work in the surrounding counties there as well. It's just incredible what's happening. The development that's happening, like you can drive down a road and I promise you'll see an apartment complex being built right now. It's just that amazing. So yes, it's a great advantage to be in this area. Okay. One of the fastest growing areas.
Yeah, so the corridor from San Antonio to Austin, but then you've got, Waco's a little ways, and you got Dallas, Fort Worth, you got Houston. Where do you see the most activity? Is it in the Austin area?
Yes, it's in the Austin area. That corridor between Austin and San Antonio, like that corridor is where all the big development's happening right now. Like, you'd be shocked to see how much development's happening all throughout that area. It's incredible what's happened to Austin and how it's been impacting the surrounding areas.
Yeah, people in New Braunfels, right? Their life is changing by the day.
Yes,
because it's just growing so massively. And then San Marcos, a college town, So I think we've got a lot of good things happening here for San Antonio, but we can still be blue collar. We're kind of like relationship-based town, blue collar town, but then still have the advantages of tech and other cool stuff coming to the area.
San Antonio is going to blow up pretty soon. It's not going to be the same thing. Within 10 years, you're not going to be able to recognize it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing.
So tell me about the structure of your organization with respect to you and your partner. Who's doing what there?
We essentially share everything 50-50, responsibilities and everything. The only reason we're able to do this is because of how organized we are. Organization is one of the key things to our development this far, because we have over 100 projects, and the only way we can keep up with that is by being organized. Like we have to know what's happening with each project on a daily basis. We have a very comprehensive task list of things that we need to get done, and where the project is and what phase it's in, what we need to do for it, and be able to coordinate with our clients accordingly, and also be able to set aside the time to be able to do work. We also farm out some work to some contractors as needed to help us with some of the grunt work, essentially get the plans ready and etc. But mostly it's Sam and I that run the entire business, from designing the website, the logo, to doing the actual work itself, and be able to talk to the clients and everything. So it's been.
So you don't have a secretary or anybody there that's helping manage your client communication or client relations?
Client relations, it's important that Sam and I are talking to our clients. We feel like if someone that's not Sam and I, or if that's not an engineer discussing that with our clients, especially at our level, it's very difficult for them to get the wrong information, and we don't want. That's the relationship I was mentioning to you before with our clients, like how close we are with them, which has made the biggest difference. So I don't think I don't think we would ever hire anyone to, be able to have that communication with our clients. But we do hire people to be able to do like menial tasks, like get the plans ready for us, or construct, or the design, or we do the design, they get the plans ready, and etc. So those kind of deals. But Sam and I are essentially at this point running the whole thing ourselves.
Oh, and it's working for you, right?
It's working for us.
How many hours a week are you putting in?
It depends. Like last week was really, we had a lot of submittals. So last week we worked quite a bit, from almost 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. for like 4 or 5 days. Like that's not typical. But then there's weeks where we work 30 hours. It just depends. There's weeks where I have to work weekends just to be able to keep up with some of the production work that we have to do, So it depends, but honestly, I enjoy it so much. It's like playing games to me. It's just like a video game at this point. Like I enjoy it. Like I love what I do. So it's a passion at this point. Way different than when I was an E employee. I hated it. I hated working for someone else. I was like, I got to go home. I need my quality of life. But like now it's like, I get to come over here and do this. I don't have to have permission from someone to do this. Another thing is we work remotely, so we can travel the world and work anywhere in the world and do this work. And so it's pretty good for us.
When you've identified that you're not interested in going to the B quadrant, you're going to skip it and go to the I quadrant. Mm-hmm. So building out a structure for your company is not to end up in that B quadrant. That's not what you're doing. So by being aware of that, it saves you from trying to actually go into something. It seems like a natural progression, because someone like myself would say, well, yeah, you've got to go from the S quadrant to the B quadrant, because that's the natural flow for my business, but it's not for you. You're going straight to the I, which that's where the real money is in the I quadrant anyway. So that's cool that you know where you're going, and you understand, you have the information so that you can understand where you want to go and how you're going to get there. Not everybody has that.
Yeah, Robert Kowalski's book changed everything for us. Like, it's been amazing, especially the quadrant system, how accurate it is sometimes to be able to quantify where you are in life. Sam and I would do, like, once every 2 months, we will do like a vision board to make sure we keep on track to what our actual goals are. We had all these different quotes that we saved from different people that tried to inspire us to be like, all right, this is where we want to get to in life. We want to be able to get to that point where money works for you, and we just have to keep our eye on the prize, because sometimes you forget, you get into the weeds of things and you forget what your actual goal is in life. Some of my best friends, they all do the same thing. Like, we all have like this vision, and we want to make sure we get to that vision. Like, you want to do something in your life. Life is short. Life is so short. Like, if you're not pushing yourself to the fullest, what's the point, right? So,
is there anything that can knock you off track of getting from your S quadrant to your I quadrant?
Yeah, there's so many things. Like, all our clients stop giving us projects. Like, we can lose all our projects, and we
probably
have to
not going to happen here in San Antonio area.
No,
right?
Definitely not. But that is one of the possibilities you have to think about before you jump from E to S. You have to think about those risks. What happens if you don't get any more projects? Like, all the clients finish our projects and that we don't get any more projects. That's something that I think about every month. Like, oh my God, I'm not writing any more proposals. what if everything runs out? We finish our projects. What do we do now? Like, what do we do from there? Like, it's a little bit of a scary feeling, but I love that because it shows me that I'm doing something right. Because if I'm not scared, I'm not doing something right. Right.
So how do you overcome that challenge of getting new clients?
For us, every time I think I'm not getting any more projects in, I have a client call me saying, I have a project ready for you. And it's just, I think it's mainly because of the way we treat our clients. Like,
So referrals.
You're
getting referrals.
Referrals, and, you know, they also have their own projects that they, once they finish it, they have another one. And, you know, it's just, once you give them a good product, they come back to you.
Are you networking at all?
Nothing.
So there's a lot of real estate investment, of course, going on in San Antonio. And there's people that you can go to mastermind groups and just start meeting people that are like-minded, because these are folks that are, they're learning how to invest. And you bring something different to the table than they bring to the table. You all kind of learn, but you get to know each other, and then opportunities come up. People like you, you like them. Maybe you want to work on something together. So networking is a big part of that. It's just getting into it. Have you looked at that at all? Are you familiar with it? Do you know what's going on?
We did. In the beginning, when we were trying to brainstorm on how to get clients, we were thinking of all different options. Cold calling architects, you know, trying to talk to surveyors. Maybe contractors can get us projects. Maybe we can go to these events that, you know, we can, you know, meet like-minded folks like you mentioned. But once we got busy, it's just been a roller coaster. Just,
not really a need for it.
Not right now, but it is something that's, we would be more than happy to, you know, go down once we slow down a little bit more. And
I mean, even if you did it once a month, right, where you're branching out, so you can kind of have some relationships, and then you meet those couple of right folks that they can, by doing that continually, that's how you continue to keep that pipeline of contacts. Anyway, networking is, that's what I do. I'm constantly networking, but I'm pushing hard, but to grow. That's how I do it. But I would recommend it. And there's people here doing real estate investing on commercial and residential. People looking to acquire Airbnbs. I mean, it's just apartment complexes. You know what I mean? You can meet a couple of those folks that are in that world, and who knows how much faster that could go for you guys. Because I can tell you have an interest in apartment complexes.
Yeah, we have a couple of apartment complexes going on right now. The good thing that we do, Sam and I, we're able to get the project done faster than a larger firm, mainly because Sam and I are working on it. And when you go to a larger firm, where we were the project managers, but once we get the project, we farm it down to an engineer 1 or engineer 2, you know, to people that aren't as experienced as Sam and I, to be able to get that project. We do it right the first time, and it's done. And it's a lot faster than, it could take years for a larger company to do what, you know, I guess not years, but it could take a lot, like maybe twice as long for them to get through that process than what Sam and I could do. And, you know, they're also 8 to 5 employees. We get it done as soon as we can. And that's another thing that clients like about us, is our speed and accuracy.
And I would think that when you got quality, speed, and accuracy all pushed together, and they like you, that will lead to more work. But then, you know, if you know you're going towards apartment complexes, that's something that be looking for opportunities where maybe you guys could partner up with somebody so you can get your foot in the door, so to speak.
Yeah, definitely.
That's what I love about entrepreneurship. Man. I mean, we're constantly looking for opportunities. You know what I mean? Well, cool. Awesome. Anything else you want to get into before we wrap up?
No, I think we talked about a lot of different things. Is there anything else that you want to ask me?
No, I think we got through it. Again, you know, the cash flow quadrant is a cool concept. I would recommend it. Anybody out there who doesn't know what that is, to go out there and find Robert Kiyosaki's book, give it a read through. He's got some other books out there as well, but it's just that information. Because once you're aware of something, you know, if it's something that your mind, your body, your soul, your whatever wants to embrace, then you can just get after it, and you can keep chasing it down, maybe make it part of your life like you did.
Exactly.
And then who knows where that ends up. You know, when you're 50, 60, 70 years old, your life's completely different than if you were working in that E quadrant the whole time.
I read Robert Kowalski's book back in 2010, right after college, and it took almost 10 years for me to comprehend what he meant before I was able to make that. It wasn't as soon as I read it that I was able to understand it and be able to make that happen. it was in the back of my mind, but it took a long time for me to understand how to get to that path.
Why do you think that it was?
Because it's hard to connect the dots looking forward. You have to be able to like just follow what your instincts is.
You said you were right out of college, right?
Right out of college is when I read that book.
So in college, we're really not taught these concepts. We're taught a different way of thinking, which you alluded to earlier, like with our parents, and get a good job and look for that retirement and yada, yada, right? But the problem is 1 or 2 medical bills can wipe you out if you're not careful, right?
Exactly.
So that's why we have to, this scaling your income is something that can keep growing on itself is ideal, which is why the I quadrant is so appealing. But yeah, that is a pretty foreign concept, the cash flow quadrant. But it's interesting that you didn't really key in on it. What brought you back around to that 10 years later?
Well, once I was able to like see a path forward. Like I didn't see a path forward when I saw the cash flow forward quadrant, or when I read Rich Dad Poor Dad. I didn't know what that meant. Like I tried different things. I tried Amazon FBA. I did try to order stuff from China, bring it over here. I tried all these different things to make it work. I didn't know what was going to work, so I had to just keep moving forward, try one thing after the next until something stuck. And now I'm like, oh, okay, so this is what I was supposed to do because this is what my path was the entire time. But you can't really know that looking forward. You have to be able to. The only way I know now is by looking backwards. Like, and so it's just it's in the now. When someone reads it, it's gonna be hard for them to understand. Like, okay, well, what does that mean? How can I actually make that work?
Well, just the fact that you're going from the S to the I quadrant based on your skill set. I think it could be eye-opening to somebody because they're like, oh my gosh, I thought I had to go from this one to this one to this one to this one. You're saying, no. You've got the skill set where you can go directly from here to here.
Everyone has their different path in what they do. But I think the key is to understand what you're good at and don't jump to a different career immediately. Like you've done something for a long time, then understand how that's going to be able to understand how that can take you from point A to point B. Instead of looking to do something completely different. You ever read The Richest Man in Babylon?
I've heard of it. I haven't read it, no.
Yeah, there's something in there where I might be butchering it, but one thing is he says that when he was trying to invest in something, he had a clue from a fisherman that there was a really good diamond mining area at this location, so put all your money here to be able to make a lot of diamonds. And then he did that listening to the fisherman, and all of a sudden, like, none of that deal went through. He learned really quick that I need to go to an expert to ask about diamonds and where to mine them instead of like going to a fisherman and asking him. So it's like it's that little thing right there. I'm probably completely butchered that, and that saying is
well,
not
surround
right,
yourself with people in the know. I think that's
exactly.
the short and direct line to that. Because you don't go to a baker to learn how to draw professional.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Civil engineer documents.
Exactly. So people have their own skill sets. They just need to understand how to utilize it to their fullest ability.
Well, and we're back to networking again.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Like just always be broadening your network.
Awesome.
Love it, because you don't know what you don't know until you know.
Exactly.
Right? There's another one where it's like, you take a circle and you draw a line. And it's like, this is what you know, just red line. That's all what you know. And then you draw another line next to it, and that's like all the things that you know about, but you don't know them. And then the rest of it is everything that you don't know that you don't know. And there's a whole lot out there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That's really kind of eye-opening. You're like, wow, there's just a ton that I don't even know to even ask about. And that's Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the cash flow quadrant. Some people don't even understand that that's even out there. But when they find it, and then they're like, well, I don't know what that is, then they're on that other line. And then when they learn it, that's finally when they get to the red line. But anyway. Love it. All right. Awesome. Well, Shiva, I enjoyed our conversation. I appreciate you coming out. Quick reminder for our listeners that you can catch podcast and video version of the show anytime by visiting our website at satalkradio.com. That's going to be it for us for this one. You guys have a great week. We'll see you on the next one.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
Great job.